Ladies and gentlemen, brothers and sisters, friends, enemies and comrades, I hope you're doing well wherever you are. This is Kenyan Revolutionary. Karibu sana, karibu sana. I'll be here briefly. It's Monday. Come on, it's Monday. Watu wanafanya kazi, watu wametoka kazi, watu wanalala, watu. It's just you're thinking about Tuesday. You just got off a very long day. You're thinking of Tuesday. So I won't hold you up. It's Monday. Ama namna gani? But anyway, karibu. Ladies and gentlemen, brothers and sisters, friends and comrades, it's been a wonderful weekend. Of course, if you're a soccer fan, as Chelsea fans, we like this because every team dropped, all the big teams drop points, but we gained some points. So that's a good thing. Karibu sana Kauru for being the first one in here. Karibu. By the way, before I get started, today it's all and all. We are talking about everything and everything happening in Kenyan politics. So please, whatever topic that's really catches your eye, we can discuss that. You can get in, you cannot. I mean, it's whatever. It's open session, okay? Karibuni sana. By the way, just in case you're wondering what this channel is all about, this is about Kenyan politics, okay? So if you like Kenyan politics, please go ahead and subscribe to this channel if you haven't subscribed yet. And if you have subscribed, go ahead and like this channel. And please make sure your notification is on so that every time I come in, you know when I'm on. So you can join me and we can have this discussion. Share it in your political group, WhatsApp groups, and every other social platforms. Tell them about this place. Yeah, see, I saw you. I see you. Hello, boss. With Ruto Must Go, right? Of course, it is Ruto Must Go as usual. Anyway, let's get started. What's happening in Kenya? What is happening in Kenya? There's so much happening. I missed the weekend and everything is happening. Ruto all of a sudden, well, not Ruto. Let me just say this. The EACC all of a sudden are saying they want to go for the big wigs. EACC, for those of you who don't know, is the body that, is the ethics and something corrupt anti-corruption committee or whatever the case is. Karibu KR at KR. Karibu KK. EACC, okay? All of a sudden they're saying, hey, listen, we have cases against some bigwigs. We want to go for the bigwigs. We are tired of arresting chicken chiefs. Let's go for the bigwigs. We saw the judge in the Mike Sonko case. One of the judges, rescinded the whole judgment, the previous judgment. And now they're saying, Bado Nani akona kesi. Not only that, the EACC is going for Gladys Sholay. Woo! Gladys Sholay, who is a huge Ruto ally. They come from the same place. But, apparently she kind of misappropriated some funds when she was working for the JCC or something like that. Toto, behave yourself. Yeah, they're going for her. Surprise. That was shocking. But again, I'm not holding my breath because to see Gladys Sholay in handcuffs, that's another story. I doubt it will happen. I doubt. But anyway, let's just start with everything. What else is happening? People are still talking about Raila Odinga with this AU thing, the performance and all that. By the way, I read somewhere that Raila Odinga and Ruto, they had 527 people to barrage, attack, to, twist Raila's performance after his AU debate, because they knew during the debate there was so much anti-Raila messages that were there. So after the debate, 527 people were hired bloggers were hired to tweet and go on the social media to try to, dress this thing up as if Raila had a wonderful, exceptional debate. But we all know the truth that he lacked substance. I already talked about that. But, I had somebody talk about this position that he's running for, and it was a different perspective that I think it was an interesting one. An inside look at how this EACC, what does that mean? Let's just start with that EACC Raila thing, then we shall go to Ruto, then we shall be here. We shall be. Sorry. I've been coughing for a while. I'm healing, but I'm still coughing. But we shall deal with it, okay? So let's just start with this clip here. It's a short clip, and we can just review and hear what this guy is saying. I think he says something really new, and I'll open the forum for everybody else just in a bit, okay? Aya, tuingize. Ebu mukae mstari wa mbele, please mkae mstari wa mbele. Ndio hiyo basi, ndio hiyo. Let's
said it. Both of them have different strength, but I think there's one thing that as Kenyans we don't understand. You know, some of us we have been in the international arena and we have worked in those systems. When you are dealing with governments and you are an independent body that link those governmental affairs, which is the role of the AUC, you do not need political will. In that, the moment your approach is political, then countries don't want to welcome you, a person with a political mindset. The problem is that
maybe in Kenya we are used to having politicians in these positions, but in other countries that is not how they approach
that is not the case, because the issue is AU's role as a chair is to navigate the linkage between the countries in Africa, as well as linking the same in the international arena, in the UN and the EC and those other aspects of it. The moment Baba concentrates on issues that he can do, that position does not mandate you to do anything. That position only facilitates, gives you an opportunity to facilitate the process of engaging the African nations in order for them to have.
Okay, so basically, for those of you who don't understand what he's saying, I'll just break it down real quick. He was just explaining the role of the AUC chairperson, okay? Because a lot of people, even Raila Odinga, seems to not be understanding the job description. So he's explaining that it's not exactly a political position per se, because Kenyans, we are so obsessed with politics. We think it's about doing all this wonderful stuff. Yes, I'll build bridges in Cameroon. I'll build bridges from Sudan to Kisumu, to China to I don't know where. As you heard Raila Odinga was saying in his presentation, in his submission, he's basically saying that this AUC chairperson position, whatever the case is more of a diplomatic position, okay? You are trying to facilitate, as he puts it, okay? I'm representing the continent when I go to the UN, when I'm dealing with the Europeans. I'm advocating for maybe, encouraging trade from between two nations, intra-African trade, two nations, working on peace here and there, promoting peace, promoting trade, promoting all these wonderful things. It's not like, oh, I'm the head of AUC, I will make sure that Burkina Faso build 5 bridges. I'm the head of AUC. You're not the president of Africa, okay? You're a top diplomat. Now, with that said, ladies and gentlemen, because I think a lot of people kind of don't get that part, the actual job description itself. They think Raila is going to be the president of Africa. No, he's not. This is a diplomatic position. You are going to kind of try to put Africa together, the member states, because remember, not all Africa is under AU, but you can also encourage the non-AU countries to come under this AU umbrella. So you have a huge diplomatic responsibility here for that AUC chairperson position. You are going to work with head of states. You're going to talk about talk to generals. You're going to talk to the AU, UN, and all that stuff. Yeah. So this is not. That's why some people are arguing that this might not be the best position of Raila Odinga, because if you compare his resume with I don't know about the Madagascar guy, but the guy from Eritrea, he has his CV is rich with the diplomatic what do you call it? I can speak. Diplomatic work, okay? Let me just put it that way. So, and you can obviously, you could see even the way he was presenting his presentation. He seems to know the terrain. He knows the conflicts in different parts of Africa. He's fluent in almost every language that is being spoken in Africa, at least the main ones, the French, English, and Arabic, okay? Of course, he'll have to work on his Portuguese and all that stuff. But at least you could see, even if from his answers, as I mentioned, I made the video, you can go check it. He is more well suited in this position. Raila was his presentation was more like, oh, use me as a vehicle to do this. I will make sure that it's a bridge, whatever. Of course, like I mentioned, him when he was appointed by Faki to be the head of infrastructural stuff in Africa, okay, he was advocating for that stuff, but it wasn't actually diplomatic per se. But that was his strongest tool. So in summation, I'm just saying this. Listen, if you look at Raila's resume and the Djibouti guy, the Djibouti is hands down the better. I mean, this is not up for debate anymore. For all of you who wants to debate this, it's not even. And also, oh my God, somebody, listen, I did not save this, but somebody reminded, I was reading somewhere in a chat, and someone reminded us that in 2011, Raila Odinga was one of those who supported the removal of Gaddafi. Okay, he was encouraging the EU to remove Gaddafi. Woo! Now, we can go back and look if that's true. If it's true, then that's a huge blow to Raila. Now, while this is happening, Kenyans are being as creative as they are, gathering emails of heads of states and, writing these heads of states, telling them, hey, listen, do not vote for this guy. This guy is not to be believed. This guy is not competent. This guy has brought down Kenya. So, yeah, that's what's happening. So Raila, the only thing that Raila has is maybe the advantage. Let me not say it's not an advantage. It can be, and it's not also, that when the voting takes place, it's actually a secret voting. It's a secret vote that will be casted, okay, by these heads of state. So Raila will not know who voted for who. Even Ruto might vote for that guy from Djibouti, and Raila will never find out. It's just that Ruto has, in public here say that, yeah, Raila, I'll support you. But he can decide and vote for the guy for the Djibouti. And he will never know. Raila will never know. So it's tricky. So I wonder how they'll feel. What I suspect is going to happen, the voting pattern will look something like this. All the countries, African countries that are really, really pro-European, the African puppets, they will see the need of voting for Raila Odinga because they understand Ruto is the biggest puppet in Africa. Okay? So Raila is just, is stemming from that administration. Okay? Now, for any president, any head of state who is more pan-Africanist, who's looking at Ibrahim Traore as the future of Africa, or anybody, those guys will probably vote for the Djibouti guy. If you're just looking at based on competence, because really, what was really substantive about what Raila's presentation on whatever? Nothing. But anyway, that's not the main meal today. I don't even know what the main meal. We are going to talk about different stuff. So bear with me. Like I say, please take a moment and like, share, comment, and do all the good stuff. Okay, and subscribe also too. All right, let's move to other stuff. EACC, like I told you, EACC have decided, hey, we are tired of arresting chicken thieves. We are going for the big dogs. I don't believe them, but let's listen in. Let's see if that's really what's going to happen. I doubt it. Like I say, I'm not holding my breath on that, but it's a good thing to hear, at least to hear it. But we don't know about if it's going to happen. Let's take a quick look at that. Let's go.
An Anti-Corruption Commission is recommending the prosecution of high-profile suspects, including current and former public officials, in files the agency has forwarded to the Director of Public Prosecutions. The anti-graft body, in its third quarterly report, details investigations into counties and state officials, detailing money trails and proxy companies through which public money was siphoned. Ayub Dikadir kicks us off on Sunday Live tonight.
Service the existing vehicles.
Former Wajir County Governor Mohamed Abdi Mahmoud, his wife Kaira Omar Maalim, and daughter Farhia Abdi Mahmoud are wanted for prosecution over abuse of office and conflict of interest involving 902.4 million Kenya shillings, involving 12 companies linked to the family financial 2017-18 by the ESCC. The Commission, in its third quarterly report covering the period between 1st July and 30th September 2024, also seeks to prosecute National Assembly Deputy Speaker Gladys Bose of alleged irregular procurement of fully furnished residential property for the Chief Justice during her tenure as the Chief Registrar of the Judiciary. She is wanted alongside former Director of Supply Chain Management of the Judiciary, former Director of Finance at the Judiciary, and 3 members of the Judiciary Tender Committee. They are also wanted for alleged irregular payments for the construction of prefabricated courts by the Judicial Service Commission. The anti-graft body is also targeting former Elgeyo Marakwet County Governor Alex Tolgos, his political advisor, County Procurement Manager, the Chief Officer for Health for conflict of interest, and procurement irregularities in the award of tender for the supply and delivery of petroleum products through Copcom Petroleum Limited, associated with the governor, which despite not qualifying ended up being the supplier, supplying the county government of Elgeyo Marakwet for 3 financial years. The company also made supplies to health facilities run by the county and was paid 1.7 million Kenya shillings. The Ethics and Anti-Corruption Commission also wants Joel Mutambu Kilonzi, the regional accountant for the Kenya Rural Roads Authority, and who has previously served in Turkana County for conflict of interest, amounting to Kenya shillings 108.5 million. His wife Felicitas Ndunga is also implicated by the commission. Anthony Akolo Mukembo, a senior accountant with the agency at the Nairobi headquarters, and his wife Caroline Nanjala Walubengo are also wanted for conflict of interest by ESCC. On the Ethics and Anti-Corruption Commission's radar is also Esther Wanjiru Shege, an accountant with the Kenya Rural Roads Authority in Kajiado County, and her husband Robert Kimodo Masharia for conflict of interest involving 18 million Kenya shillings. The 3 officials wanted for a total of 273.2 million Kenya shillings by ESCC, which is investigating further 9 officials from the Kenya Rural Roads Authority. The Ethics and Anti-Corruption Commission says the monetary value of the files forwarded to the Office of the Director of Public Prosecutions is 2,048,392,409. Ayub Abdikadir, Citizen TV.
Mambo ni hayo, maneno ni kama hayo. ESCC imeamua ati sasa ndio wakati wa kushika ya kuendea. I think this is a sorry attempt by Ruto trying to show the public that, hey, listen, because okay, ESCC ideally is supposed to be an independent institution. Okay, the president cannot interfere, but we all know that Ruto has a great influence. Right. Good point right here. Is there any official in Kenya who is not corrupted? Please start from the president down to I don't know who. Kila mutu. I mean, not to say that everyone in Kenya is corrupt, but in government that is senior official in most likely. That's how messed up we are. I will put the link in a few minutes as we continue to give you what you need. They are all corrupt. I like something. Speaking of corruption, there's something that this lawyer, I forgot his name. What's his name? He's Jimmy Wanjigi's lawyer. He said something that was really interesting, I think, regarding the real reason why Ruto cancelled Adani, if it is cancelled. He made a. Let me just since we are on that subject of corruption, hear me out. Like and subscribe, ladies and gentlemen, brothers, sisters, friends, everyone. Here he is. Willis Otieno. I think he was making a point here.
But then Kenya Kwanza and Ruto refused to listen. And it's important Kenyans understand why William Ruto cancelled Adani. It's not for love of country or the noise that Kenyans were making. And Kenyans understand this.
Okay, make us
The
understand.
indictment in the US is about this. That Adani was bribing foreign officials, not US, foreign countries, to secure contracts. Okay? Once has bribed to secure contracts to improve its stocks so that US investors, venture capitalists, can buy or invest into the Adani projects. You understand? It was about you bribed someone somewhere, then you show your portfolio is this huge to encourage a US citizen to invest in your business. So obviously, once an indictment of that nature has been done, of course there'll be a list of all the countries where Adani has contracts, and Kenya will be one of them. And the US Department of Justice will be asking, were there Kenyan officials who are bribed to secure these contracts? And the US will be looking direct, the courts and the DOG will be looking direct at the Kenyan issue. And they will find somewhere there are Kenyan officials who've been treated by Adani. In fact, some are even saying that possibly the jet that Ruto used to America was from the Adani group. How will you explain a jet taking a president to America? If that jet belonged to Adani, he went with this to America, the same Adani will have signed contracts with Kenya. What will be the answer? So these are questions which will be asked. So William Ruto was not doing this thing for the love of the nation. William Ruto was doing this thing to save his own skin. Because if it can be shown that somewhere there's a nexus between Adani and him, Adani bribing or giving him a gift or inducing him materially, and then Adani has gotten contracts, that will be treated as a bribe. And William Ruto would have become a named person of interest in the proceedings. That is why they haste to cancel all the contracts. And as it is, if Adani is in chief share, in whichever shape or form, if they are there, I assure you, Kenyans don't even have to do anything. That one will be cancelled on its own. Yeah, the indictment of Adani, it rarely do you find those kind of indictments being done. So, Adani and Kenya is done. Whoever brought Adani to Kenya, we should tell him, thank you very much. You're a true patriot. You brought Adani to Kenya for the world to see that we have a system here that is corrupted. That man, whoever it is, thank you. Your mission is accomplished. Adani is the one going to bring down this man.
So I like that explanation a lot, because he's basically saying that the reason why Ruto probably stopped the Adani deal was because, of course, number one, yes, Adani, Adani was trying to get some investors, US investors, to invest in their company. And of course, any huge investor in the US, before they put their money or even consider it, they'll do some background check on your company, see where you're getting your money, how huge is your portfolio. And of course, when they kind of looked into it, they see that Adani is involved in different kind of nations that they've been accused of bribing officials of these nations, nation states, to secure deals. Okay. And, American business people do not like corrupt deals. I'm not saying they're not corrupt, but for the most part, okay, corruption still exists. But when it's a huge deal like this, where the feds can be involved or, whatever, they try to stay by the book, okay? So when they did their background, they found out that Adani has been listed or have been, red flagged for, we remember in Australia, they were kicked out, even in India itself, Bangladesh, you name it, several countries. And again, so maybe they looked at Kenya and, Kenya seems to be one of those country that may have received a bribe from Adani to secure this kind of deal. And, if they continue digging in, they might find out that, Ruto was probably one of those who were paid. Raila was one of them. Murkomen, whoever, So that's the fear. Maybe Ruto kind of, maybe, I don't know, maybe he received a phone call from the State Department and say, hey, listen, you're a person of interest. Ulichukua milioni fulani kutoka kwa Adani. Because Adani, by the way, there's a arrest warrant for them. Of course, he's a billionaire. He will be in countries that does not have what do you call it? Where you rendition can't take them from what that country, and like Kenya. Adani cannot, like right now, since that thing is Ninio, he can stay in Kenya, but maybe if Ruto protects him. But Kenya is one of those countries where if the US is looking at you, looking for you, they can actually arrest you and take you to the US, okay? So anyway, what I'm trying to say is this: like he explained that Ruto might have felt, hey, listen, maybe he got a call from State Department. Akasema, Bwana Ruto, ulipokea pesa kutoka kwa nani? Akasema, no, of course. Then he probably called back Adani and say, hey, listen, here's your 50 billion. Ebu, this thing is not going well. But maybe that's not the case. Maybe Ruto is like, you know what? I'm mwezi kuja kuni arrest. I'll continue with my stuff. Nipate pesa vile nataka. So, yeah. But that might have been a reason for him to, drop off that Adani deal. But still, you never know. Because, like, I think, is it, who went to court and said that they wanted to see evidence that the state actually dropped this Adani thing, because you cannot trust Ruto. Ruto might say he dropped it, but bado anaendelea na mambo ya Adani. So you can never know with this guy. You can never know. So yeah. But anyway, so this is what is happening. Now, people, we are talking about the corruption. We are talking about Raila's chances. This is all related, ladies and gentlemen. This is all related because for those of you who might say, hey, what does Raila Odinga's going to AUC have anything with what's happening in Kenya? Of course, if this guy doesn't go to AUC, what do you think he's going to go? Sinatarudi hapa aanze kupiga zile siasa zake. Yeah, nimerudi. Nangoroma. Yeah. Wow. So it's all related. That's why we are talking about, we are trying to see what his real chances of getting this thing, especially since the voting will be private voting, so nobody will know who voted for who. And if it comes back, what does the political scene how will it look like? Is this still going to stick with Ruto, or he'll be like, you know what? Wacha nishikane na Gachagua sasa. I'm sorry, Gachagua. Let's be friends. Let's remove Ruto. Ruto is the bad guy. What will happen? We don't know. But first, let's look at his chances as people talk, see, with the AUC people, the diplomats, on the experts and the analysts are talking about his chances. Let's look at it very quickly.
The campaign secretariat for Raila Odinga's Africa Union Commission chairmanship bid has lauded his performance in a public debate on Friday. Principal Secretary Korir Singoe says the campaign will embark on a final round of lobbying with just months to the anticipated vote. But as Brian Mushiri now tells us, diplomacy experts and political commentators say Raila has much more to do to win the seat after his debate performance. Take a look.
Raila Amolo Odinga, former Prime Minister, Kenya.
At a debate of the three candidates seeking to succeed Musa Faki at the African Union Commission, Kenya's Raila Odinga outlined his agenda for the continent on trade, integration, and infrastructural development, drawing heavily from his days as AU's High Representative for Infrastructure.
Distinguished guests, ladies and gentlemen.
Raila's campaign believes he articulated his agenda convincingly.
To our minds, the candidate did extreme, showing again the importance of infrastructure based on his leadership of as High Representative of the African Union.
But pundits claim Raila's lack of language and diversity, as shown by his competitors, may influence the decision of the heads of state and government in a continent where cultural diversity is a point of pride.
He tried to give a good account of himself, but granted, of course, the Djibouti candidate came out very strong, came out very persuasive. And then, of course, don't forget his command and mastery of 3 foreign languages, 3 official languages that Africa uses. That was also very impressive.
Odinga's bid has been boosted by the withdrawal and subsequent support of Somali candidate Fawzia Yusuf Adam, the country's former foreign minister. Yudhua believes that while this may seem positive on face value, it could be a problem for Odinga on the basis of language and culture.
Everything so far going by those dynamics, and we're talking about language, religion, culture, everything is tilted in the favor of the Djibouti candidate. So what Raila's campaign team needs to do is to try and reach out, not safely assume that we have all the Anglophone countries in our bag, but continue just a lot of shuttle diplomacy, more aggressive diplomacy, into trying to see in the Arabic-speaking world, who can we sway? Whose vote could we sway? We're talking about Morocco, Algeria, some of those countries in the Arab world.
According to the Africa Union, 2/3 of member states are either Anglophone with 24 countries or Francophone with 28. Odinga faces former Madagascar Foreign Minister Richard Randriamandrato and Djibouti politician Mahmoud Ali Yusuf, and Kenya needs the support of up to 32 countries to claim victory. A number of these countries have verbally pledged support for Odinga, but due to the secret nature of the ballot, the campaign says there is still work to be done in the coming weeks.
That we will see the candidate ratchet up those engagements, particularly around Central Africa, where he's not been to, and a few other countries. But I think what is really critical is that the candidate will also be engaged in a listening exercise where he wants to get perspectives from different groups, particularly the private sector.
Githua asserts that the outcome of the February poll will have a huge impact on the Kenyan political landscape.
How much influence will he still have on the remaining politicians in the direction they take? So that is he leaves a constituency that's up for grabs. If he loses the AUC seat and he comes back, will he retire from politics, or will his constituency not allow him to retire from politics?
Former Prime Minister Raila Odinga's AUC bid hangs in the balance now more than ever. And with the government of Kenya remaining bullish and liking his prospects, it is a no-brainer that Djibouti offers Kenya a real run for its money. The battle now has been taken to the Arabic-speaking countries. Brian Mushiri, NTV, Nairobi.
Okay, with that said, ladies and gentlemen, we have to put this thing into a proper perspective. Now, remember, while Raila is, doing his abracadabra diplomacy, guys, you have to. While he's doing that, yes, thank you, Nani, for Chief Negus just reminded me the news I saw today about is it Komarok? Where is it? Komarok. They're demolishing houses. I saw there was a lady, I think it was a lady who he had a building which is his lifetime investment, being brought down by the government. I mean, these are the things that will make people watu watarudi kwa mtandao on the streets. But now I was going this is where I was going with this, okay? This is where I was going with this. With all that saying and done, okay? Raila is trying to go to EU. The High Court ruled on the IBC Amendment Act. Do you guys remember that? That amendment that Ruto assented to when Raila had to go there to the KICC with with Kalonzo Musyoka, and they signed it. And I say this thing is illegal because there was no public participation. These people just met somewhere in Bomas and agreed to pass it. This is not how law is passed, Hey. I have a co-presenter over here who you can see. But yeah, right. There are people, Sakaja, yes. Yeah, you guys are talking about the house. Absolutely. We are getting to that, and I'll get a clip from that news clip about the Komarok demolitions that are happening, which is really not sitting well with people, the residents in Nairobi. Okay, Komarok to be exact. Okay, so again, there are a couple of things that are happening with this High Court ruling on the IBC Amendment Act. That will be another blow to the whole reconstitution of the IBC. Remember, there will be a one year window that is left, basically, because we have till August. I think August. Is it August 2027 or 26? Because you can't recall these MPs or senators 12 months before the next elections, general elections. Okay, so the delay game still plays on, but I was just surprised by the High Court ruling that the IBC Ninio is. We are getting. Listen to this. This is something that I think the news came out. I had it on Friday. I don't know if it came before that, but that news clip actually shocked me because I was like, "What's going on? Hii mambo nini inaendelea hapa jamani? What's going on?" They don't want to reconsider the IBC. Not that they have faith in IBC, but they don't want to even risk the possibility of these MPs being recalled, these puppets, because they know if they lose the members of parliament, Ruto also will be exposed. Because if you put in the people that we trust, that we demand have to represent us and our interest right now is to remove Ruto from power. So if you put people who are not going to toe the line to whatever Ruto wants, they know Ruto might go. And if Ruto goes, we know the political class will not be safe. But here's the news.
Mugambi invalidated the IBC.
The High Court's decision declaring the Independent Electoral and Boundaries Commission Amendment Act of 2023 unconstitutional clears the air on the IBC constitution debate and exposes parliamentary overreach as the Senate passed the law without proper consultations. Busia Senator Okiya Omtata argues that the decision paves the way for a quick ABC reconstitution, as there is no conflict between the old and the new act. Melito Letenges reports on the decision by Justice Lawrence Mugambi that in part had it that the law which created the IBC selection panel was passed without considering public and stakeholder input, rendering it null and void.
Justice Lawrence Mugambi invalidated the IBC Act 2023, citing failure to consider public views, a key argument presented by Senator Okiya Omtata in his petition. Omtata praised the court's ruling, saying it provides clarity on IBC's constitution and the chaos surrounding its selection panel.
Confusion around the IBC because we're having two laws. There's the law that was passed in 2024 and this particular one. So you have two laws governing the same issue. We have got people who have been nominated under the old law as to be part of the panel. And the panel are waiting to sit. And I think they're even having allowances. So that confusion has also been cleaned out by this particular verdict of the court. So we have taken out the confusing law. We have also taken out the mischief that can be played in Parliament.
In July, President William Ruto signed the IBC Amendment Bill 2024, which revised the 2023 Act based on recommendations from the NADCO report. However, the Act failed to include public input, raising concerns about its practicality. Justice Mugambi highlighted in his judgment that the 2023 bill had been withdrawn on the Senate floor without the consent of members, undermining due process.
Once a report has been tabled, it becomes the property of the Senate. And the only way to deal with it is either to approve it or reject it through a vote of the whole House. There's no provision for somebody to withdraw. Secondly, the withdrawal was being made without consultation of the other party members.
Omtata alleges that the IBC constitution debate has been intentionally derailed.
If an individual can fight tooth and nail to be part of the panel, what's the motivation? The motivation is money. Are we together? So if the motivation of these people who are going to the panel is money, then how sure are you that money will not determine who they elect as the commissioners?
With this ruling, the operations of the IBC's initial selection panel remain in limbo. Melita Oletenges, Citizen TV.
Yeah. It's not only money, but it's the motivation is also to make sure that they put people that they trust will do whatever they want them to do. So it's not just money, but it's about also putting somebody who you will make sure, they'll make sure do their bidding when it comes to elections. Because remember, some of these like governors, if you look at how they were elected, I mean, there was so much stuff. There was so much corruption, violence, rigging, shrouded. I mean, it was you can't trust these people. You can't trust these people. Now, as we continue to give you what you need, there's something that I wanted to talk about. I don't know if I will have time to whatever, but let me just open up, put the Ninio and have people just watoe ile kwa kifua. Because there was something I wanted to talk about the Gen Zs and about the Gen Zs. But you know, I didn't put my videos together, but it's something that I talked about. But the main question was this that I was talking about earlier. I was like, and I've always mentioned it here. How come we stopped? When did we stop this whole Occupy State House? Why did we stop it? Why is it there since Raila Odinga and his panel of experts, the Opiya Wandais and the rest joined Ruto cabinet? Why did we stop going to Maandamano? Why did that stop? Was the Gen Z being funded indirectly by the Azimio folks and the political class? Or is it a matter of the political class clashing within themselves? Because, listen, I raised this earlier and I will raise it again, okay? Because now, I don't know if I should go into it, but if you want to mention it, because listen, all this IBC, all this presidential candidate, all this stuff that we are talking about, Adani, can only be put to rest if we have a truly independent institutions as it has been enshrined in our constitution. But we can't have that because the head of the state, the person presiding over the administrative part of government, has bought everybody and everyone. Okay, I will go. Thank you, KK. I will go over it very briefly. Okay, so to me, I was questioning. My question was this: why did the Gen Z actually stop? It seems we were unstoppable on June 25th. When we went to the JKA, the Gen Z, they seemed unstoppable. The police could not handle it. They had to bring the army. Then, later on, we came to find out who was actually financing this Gen Z. For example, what's his name? Jimmy Wanjigi said it, that he funded Gen Z. No problem with that. But if you remember, Jimmy Wanjigi, he had a meeting before. Remember, should I go back? I will go back. Forget it. Let's do it. Let's do it. I will try to pull the video up. Let me just walk you step to step very quickly. After the elections, we went to the Supreme Court. Supreme Court cases ililetwa. Okay? Cases ililetwa kwa ninio. Cases ililetwa kwa Supreme Court, and Supreme Court will remember what she said. Hot air, which was hot air. Okay, whatever. 5 months after the hot air ninio ruling, Raila Odinga goes and says he wants something akin to the Kofi Annan Accord, which is basically BBI, DADCO, whatever you want to call it, broad-based government, okay? Then he told the government, if you don't do so, we are going for Maandamano, okay? And before he went to Maandamano, you know, after the first or second Maandamano, Raila Odinga, remember, up to that point, he was not in good terms with Jimmy Wanjigi because they fell off because of years back when Jimmy Wanjigi was trying to vie for that ODM seat as the presidential candidate. Wakakosana, alafu, you know, I don't know how the relationship was till then. But leading up to that point, they came and met again and they had a lunch. Remember, NTV showed us when they had lunch and they were asked, hey, what were you guys talking about? They didn't mention. They'll say they'll work together or whatever, but it was never ninio. Hawakutuelezea nini. But anyway, soon after that, the maandamano zilikuwa zinaendelea, maandamano za ODM na Azimio was going on in the streets. Soon after that, peace was brokered through whatever, all these nonsensical talks, Otiende Amolo and George Murugara, okay? They agreed to sit down, right? And to draft this NADCO thing. Alafu hiyo pia ikavunjika. Then they brought Kalonzo and wakina Cheriot and other idiots, okay? And the preconditions to that was that the Azimio would stop the maandamano. Then wakakuja na NADCO, and they had 8 points that they wanted to implement. One of them was the IBC amendment bill, which they succeeded and made it law. And I said it was illegal, and I'm glad that judge also said it was illegal. Right? Now, there was 8 more after that one. And another one was supposed to create these positions of prime ministerial position, the official opposition, which will require us to have a plebiscite, a referendum, because we are going to change their constitution, which was in the works. That's why you kept on hear them saying, oh, we should review this constitution and see if it really works for us, because it seems like this constitution is not working for us. Remember that? Now, knowing that Raila Odinga and Azimio had made a deal with Ruto that, hey, in order for us to implement this NADCO, we cannot go to maandamano. Guess what happened? Because the thing was stalling. Remember, Kalonzo Musyoka that time was saying they need to implement this, they need to implement this. Is not what they need to push on through immediately. Then Gen Z popped up with the finance bill. It was right around the finance bill part. Okay? Gen Z wakafanya hivyo, and we know what happened. We know the history. But Gen Z was strong and was doing well because there was June 25th, there was the airport thing, which were back to back going on well. But as soon as Raila Odinga went and showed the public was open to this national dialogue nonsense, whatever, and Raila Odinga officially showed that he was going to shake hands with Ruto, the maandamano was now thwarted. The police were cracking down on people. The ODM folks were saying, hey, mkitokezea huko mtaona nyinyi. And it died down to up to now. The maandamano is not working. But it died down after Raila Odinga and the Johos and Opiah Wandayi wali joined Ruto in government, in cabinet. Of course, they resigned for Azimio, and then they went to the cabinet. And Raila Odinga told us that, yeah, nilimsaidia na our experts. Now, you can be asking, what's the connection between Gen Z and Raila Odinga? That's where Jimmy Wanjigi comes in. Jimmy Wanjigi told us, I think she was in whatever, Ngugi's whatever, and told us that he financed, pretty much supported the Gen Zs, financed them. Okay? Who else? George Kimpuru, I think that's his name. When he was addressing the crowd somewhere, I think where, with Gachagua. I was surprised. Gachagua was standing right beside him. It was a roadside address, public address. And he said, sisi ndio tulipanga hii mambo ya Gen Z. Kama wajui. And Gachagua never scolded him. So what I'm trying to say is this. Could it be, because it seems like things died down after the Ninio. Things died down after these folks waliingia kwa Ninio, waliingia kwa hiyo cabinet. Could it be that the aim was just that? Now, you hear Jimmy Wanjigi, if you listen to him on Spice FM, he was saying that mambo inachemka, basically I'm paraphrasing, but there's going to be a revolution. Next year, angalia. Watch. And remember, Gachagua told us, I remember one of you guys told us here, but that we shall know the truth in January. I don't know if he was referring to his case or just January in general. Because if Raila doesn't make it to the AUC, guess what's going to happen? He will come back and he will want the NADCO to be fully implemented, including changing the constitution to create a prime ministerial position for him. That he will demand. I can guarantee you. This man cannot stay calm. He needs people to clap for him and call him Baba and praise him and have red carpets and cars and all this nonsense. The trappings of power. You get the drill. So the IEBC, the NADCO proposal is being implemented in parts, in bits. And by all indication, I don't think Raila Odinga is going to make it to the AUC. And if he doesn't, his fallback, his plan B is what? Let's fully implement that. Now, you might ask yourself, oh, no, Jimmy Wanjigi has no hands in this. Jimmy Wanjigi is clear, whatever. Fine. Jimmy Wanjigi, as I said, he has been saying good things. But remember, he's the beneficiary of this system. That's how he made his money. Making a deal with the government. Do you truly think that a total overhaul of the system will benefit him? How do you think he's maintaining his billions? How is he making his business connection? He knows these people. He told us, serikali ya Uhuru na Ruto ilitengenezwa kwa sitting room yangu. That's just to give you a glimpse of how close he is, how involved he is in power. That's what I'm trying to tell you. So that's why there's a video I made that tells you, while we might jumping in and we are saying Gen Z, Gen Z, Gen Z, Gen Z, Gen Z, and we are thinking that we are fighting for the total overhaul of this corrupt system, or at least the people who are corrupting the system, their goal, our goal, and the financiers' goal, the people at the background, might not be the same. Lengo letu might be tofauti. Yeah, and the West must have a hand in it too. Of course, because guess who's pushing this agenda? Guess who's pushing this agenda? They know the people don't want this easy money, nio za ng'ombe, mashindano za ng'ombe. People don't want easy mambo za seeds, za ninio. They know that. But how do they fool people to make them think that they're actually going to change the system, but they want to change just the faces? They know people are tired of Ruto, so they might bring a fresh face who will still be working on the same agenda, but at least it will buy them time to fool the majority of us that, hey, finally we have a new face who will bring some change. Remember when Ruto came to power? Remember when Ruto came to power? We all thought Ruto is the next Union. Akaenda huko Ufaransa. Some people were like, oh my goodness, this is the greatest person since sijui nani. Wengine walikuwa nasema this is sijui Martin Luther King, the wonderful speech in France, in that climate change, whatever. Billie Eilish was performing in Paris. And I told people, do not be fooled by this. Just listen to what he's saying. Because even before going to Paris, he met with the president of World Bank. And instead of saying, we don't need your money anymore, you should stop giving us money, he said, just let's restructure these loans, give us better terms. The Burkina Faso say, no, we don't need your money. We have enough wealth, we can pay off our debts. We just need control of our own resources. Ruto is telling them, no, we just need better loans. Then he goes and restructures the anachukua loan engine with higher interest rate for the next, 30 years. And I told people, listen, don't be listening to the speeches. Jamaa is for... Go watch my old videos. I don't even know which thing. Go watch my old videos. Right. So that's what I'm saying. I feel like, and I might be wrong, please take this with a pinch of salt, because do your own research. We're all in a journey of trying to ascertain what the real truth is. But I feel like this Gen Z movement, because even something that's eerily similar Can I tell you something else that was similar? When Azimio were having their maandamano, they were having their maandamano twice in a week. It was either Mondays and Wednesdays or Tuesdays or Thursdays. When the posters were coming out for the Gen Zs, it was Tuesdays and Thursdays, I believe. Remember that? Yes. Sorry, I got the Amazon in you. Let me read this by Chief Nugis. There's a good reason why only the Sahel countries have had successful government upheavals and in sub-Saharan Africa, because the overturn was done by military insiders, Traore, and not the ordinary citizen. Yeah. Same thing with Gaddafi, I think, before he took over. And that's how you actually go to New York. Chief Nugis, KK says, sadly, he is holding the whole system by the balls. Only revolution will work. Absolutely. See, the military coup d'etat are tricky though, because Museveni was a military coup d'etat. But I'm just saying, military coup d'etat, if you have somebody who has the country at heart, then it can be beneficial. But if you have a military coup d'etat, then we end up with somebody like Museveni, we are still doomed. So it's really hard. And if the military takes the power, they might suspend the constitution for a while, for a minute. That's why the military coup d'etat can go both ways. Okay, but if it's a popular revolution, it is the constitution that shall govern us from day one. Military wataingia hapo kwa sababu wao waliingia kina kifua, watasema hivi na hivi na hivi na hivi na itaendelea, because it's a military coup d'etat. So it's tricky, but I see what you're saying. Chief Nugis say, absolutely. Ruto has been receiving advice from the West on how to survive the protest. Smells like Cambridge Analytica and other think tank tactics. Yeah, Cambridge Analytica is a very, very, very what do you call it? Tricky organization, whatever the case is, because I think they were named in also 2020 debacle in the US elections. So it wasn't only in Kenya, but yeah. Gypsy saying, I told you that Raila is not going anywhere. The BBI NADCO is working slowly because we are asleep at the wheel. The guy is a con man inside out. They were waiting. We were waiting for calm waters. I think so too. I'm starting to believe it. I think maybe Raila Odinga knows that he's not going anywhere. He's just doing it for, yeah. This guy, Raila Odinga. Anyway, there's a tweet here that I wanted to show you guys. I'm so glad somebody with a lot of followings also highlighted this Alfred Mutua bull crap. Anyway, here it is. At least it gets more exposure than it has already done. Hey, come here. Anyway, here it is. I hope you guys can see. Nasir tweeted something about what Alfred Mutua has been doing, sending our young folks, the human capital, into other. Hey, come here. Let's read it real quick. Okay, it says, when you take pride in exporting university graduates as cheap labor and slave wages to Middle Eastern countries because you have nothing for them at home, then you know you are doomed. Look at the anxiety on the faces of these young men. This is too cruel. How can Mutua celebrate this? Absolutely. Look at this young man. It kind of it's touching when you see it, ladies and gentlemen, brothers and sisters, friends and comrades. Look at this. Look at this young man. they do not know what is ahead of them. They don't know. And these are graduates who the government should create a conducive environment, jobs for them. Talking of PPP, why can't you partner with private sector and hire these young folks who are highly educated and talented instead of shipping them to the Middle East? Look at their faces. And look at Mutua. He's counting them like slaves. Look at how anxious they look. Poor folks who can be my little brother, my cousin. Look. This was very touching to me when I saw this. And Abner Nasir captured it well in his tweet. And I'm glad somebody with a huge following highlighted this. When you take pride in exporting university graduates as cheap labor and slave wages in Middle East countries because you have nothing for them at home, then you know you are doomed. Look at the anxiety on the faces of these young men. This is too cruel. How can Mutua celebrate? How can he live with himself? Look at him. And he thinks he's doing. These people are demonic. Anima demoni. Alfred Mutua is a demonic person. Absolutely, I agree. Should be jailed for life. How can you? How could you? This is sad. Alafu atakuja kutuambia mambo ya sijui nini. Kwani me, I'm telling you naambia, I don't know. I don't know how some people think. I don't know. There's a video that I saw, and I have to play you guys this video. This video was hold on, wait, where is it? I have to play this video. It was my favorite video of the day. I think somebody asked me to play it last time. It was about this lady who went to the hospital and the SHA shift, whatever, did not work for her. And she expressed herself in the best way, how she knows how. Okay? I love that video. I don't know if I can find it. Let me play that. Okay, let me just see here. Crap. Did somebody take it out? But anyway. Yeah. Things are getting worse by the day. And I don't know. I heard a Mokorino was attacked somewhere. I guess he's the guy who snatched the microphone from Gachagua. And he was, Wananchi caught up with him somewhere in, I don't know if it was a restaurant or a bar. And they had to, walimsomea kidogo. Okay, I lost that video. I don't know where it's at. I didn't save it. Crap. Oh, well. But yeah, ladies and gentlemen, brothers and sisters, friends and comrades. Captain Akwapo. I'm opening the Captain Ingia. Get in right now. Captain Ingia. I need to hear from you. I haven't heard from you. I need a good laugh. Captain Ingia. Ooh-wee. This is funny. Captain Ingia. There's the link. This should be good, ladies and gentlemen. Stay tuned. This is a blockbuster. Link iko hapo, Captain. I'm already laughing and you're not here. I don't know. This is just fun. Link ndio hiyo. Anyone who wants to come in and give their view, please feel free. Captain, link iko kwa link iko kwa chat. She's right there. No, she's not. Hello. Melchi Sema.
Poa sana.
Niambie unaweza kuanza pale unataka kuanza. Tumeongea mambo mingi.
Ulikuwa unangoja captain?
Captain ameingia, so nimemwekea link. Alikuwa ameuliza link. Sijamwona kwa siku mingi, nimemjiuliza kwa wapi.
wewe pia unataka kuwa Ruto, tunakuangalia kwa IT.
Ruto kiaje hivi? Ai, ndio huyo octogenarian, ndio huyo. Ai, wewe ulishikwa?
Wacha ongee kwanza.
Aya, Captain, kwani ulishikwa? Hata amesahau kutumia simu. Captain, ongea. Huyu jamaa amesahau kuongea. Captain, ongea. Hata afanani Captain, huyu ni mtu mwingine.
Sio captain, sio captain. Ni captain ni captain mgani huyo?
Huyu si captain, huyu ni mtu mwingine.
Huyu sio captain.
Ai.
Hapana.
Uchalia meshi. Huyu si captain, huyu mtu mwingine. Hata ameshindwa kuongea. Hata unaona hata picha yake ameweka tingatinga.
Huyu sio captain. Huyu ni captain mwingine, sio yule. Tunajua.
Captain Chamge. Ha? Endelea.
Okay. Mimi wacha niendelee kama captain bado anaendelea.
Huwa ameshindwa na
Hebu nimefika.
Kuna captain.
Nawasikia nimeingia, wewe acha hiyo bana.
Niwache nini bwana? Unakuja hapa usiku.
Huyu jamaa amevaa keki kwa kichwa ama ni kofia hii?
Captain, kwani siku hizi unaendesha tinga?
Bwana. Si bora unga inaingia?
Hii dunia ni mbaya.
Unajua naweza kukuambia moja ukose tu kulala. Wacha tu niendeshe hii tinga.
Kuja hapa na TV, wacha kutuletea hapa.
Unajua niko hata nimeingia na simu, niko njiani naenda home, natoka job.
Uko Burubuseti?
Uko Buruburu?
Niko huku mara kwetu huku kwa na Murkomen hapa na Sud.
Sasa mko mnapigia Murkomen makelele kwa nini? Na yet. Yes, at 5. Yeah.
So unataka ambiwe adanganywe kuwa anafanya kazi mzuri na hakuna kitu anafanya?
Ai, nimeona watu walikuwa nafikiri Murkomen huko ni kwao, so watafurahia, watampigia tu makofi.
Kwanza kwao hata ndio mbaya zaidi, hawamtaki.
By the way, nilikuwa nataka kuuliza maoni yako, uliona debate ya octogenarian ilienda vipi?
Nasikia huyo octogenarian mpaka anasema ati anajua wazazi wake walitoka Sudan.
Yeah.
Which is okay anyway. Even some of us, we are obsessed to the our roots. Our roots here, we came from South Sudan or whatever the place. But sio mbaya, mimi naona si mbaya, alijieleza vizuri. Sasa kama hata ongeza kidogo ya kuiba, sasa sijui atapita namna. So and you know one thing, ile niliona na Kenyans, yani hawamtakii baba kabisa hiyo kiti, hawamtakii.
Yeah.
So let's wait and see. It's good because the Kenyans, they are not the ones voting alone. We only have one vote in Kenya. The rest.
Nil-
And we will
nili-
appreciate.
nilio- Sawa.
Mhm.
Anyway, Captain, utakuwa hapa kesho.
Hii wiki yote sitakuwa kwa the right time. Hii wiki yote natoka hii masaa. Maybe from next week. Ndakuwa Thursday ndakuwa free. Kiende job. I think Thursday I'll be around.
Sawa. Anyway,
what is that good thing you have for us that you want me to be there tomorrow?
Nilijaribu kupigia simu na simu yako haifanyi kazi.
Wewe unacheza na Wakenya. Unafikiri Wakenya wanalala? Waling'oa 120. Nilikaa hivi nikaweka tu M-Pesa ikaingia vizuri kuconvert. Asubuhi kuamka napata ni zero, hata hakuna sense nilipata. Zero kabisa, zero. Hata nilishindwa tu watu tu. Nimejaribu kuongea na Safaricom, lakini Safaricom wananiambia waliona tu pesa ikiingia, lakini kutoka hawajui ilitoka aje. Naona.
Pole.
So kama hiyo utaambia ni. So niko natumia hii namba nyingine ya huku which nitakutumia, taangalia kama bado niko na namba, nitakutumia direct message.
Sawa.
And then we will talk. And reason I can put let me put there on the chat.
Wacha nitumikie mtoto hapa.
Ndio utanitoa direct.
Haya, wewe nitakupigia. Ladies and gentlemen, mpaka nifunge show tarudi kesho tuonane ama namna gani?
Umeona ndio nimetuma.
Okay, wacha nichukue
leo umetunyima, lakini ni sawa, enda tu.
Mpaka nianze mapema.
Leo ametunyima, anachongea tu peke yake, alafu anasema ati anafunga duka.
Haya.
Funga
mpaka nifunge.
Funga mpaka uweke kifuli, kwani ni kesho. Atubembeleza.